maybe God doesn't desire your sacrifice, and maybe He wants more of your obedience. And so many times we get that misconstrued with God that He's looking for us to give up something in order to be with Him, or that we got to sacrifice something in order to get something from God. And that's not how it works. And it reminds me of a story with Abraham and Isaac, when God told Abraham to offer your son Isaac as a burnt offering, and to take Isaac to the land of Moriah and and offer him as a burnt sacrifice. And Abraham did just that. He was basically, God was just testing Abraham, his level of obedience and also his level of faith. We'll get into that part in a second, but first his obedience. And it goes to the story. The story tells it is where. Whoa, 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 whoa! What are you doing? Don't go nowhere. Listen, you didn't made it to this point already. Go ahead and just do your boy a favor. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you want to grow within your business, you want to grow within yourself, you want to grow with your family and your relationships, and more importantly, your relationship with God, this is the place you need to be. We become a family now. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Let's enjoy the journey. Enjoy this episode. Peace. Abraham goes to the land of Moriah. He ties him down. And I'm pretty sure Isaac was on that board like, man, what in the world is going on? I thought we was going to have a sheep that comes or a lamb to sacrifice, not me. And right when Abraham had that knife over Isaac, an angel comes out and says, do not lay a hand on that boy. And right at that point, ram is found in the bush. And that's where it says a ram in the bush. And people will take that story and say, right at the point when everything is going bad, God's gonna put a ram in the bush to save you. And I beg to differ. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm not saying that's not true. But what it really detailed was the faith that Abraham really had. Because if you go back, Abraham talks about when he was getting ready to walk out, because Isaac knew about the sacrifice that was getting ready to happen. And Isaac had asked his dad, Abraham, he said, hey, is there, where's the ram or the sheep that we're going to sacrifice? And Abraham says to Isaac, God's going to give us a sheep right in time. And that was somebody, it's so many different ways you can look at that. Somebody might look at that and say, well, it sounded like he was trying to trick Isaac. But in my head, it like he was having faith that I wouldn't have to sacrifice my son. I don't believe God's going to bring me this far to have a son, finally have a son, and then you going to make me give him up. And so because of his level of faith, he told him, he said he's gonna bring something in place just in the right of time. And that's exactly what happened. Because of his faith and his level of obedience, even though he was scared, even though I'm pretty sure he was like, man, what in the world is going on? Why would you ask me to do this? God said, here, man, right at the time when you're getting ready to just end it all, God says, here, I got something in the bush right here for you. Thank you for your level of obedience. And I'm just saying, could it be that God is saying that when you decide to make a change and when you decide to actually be obedient, that actually gives God a permission to move on your behalf? And I think it's when you're obedient, you don't have to lose anything, but you gain everything, and you keep everything when you're in a lane of obedience. It's just like I always tell my wife, like sometimes when we're going through things, I'm just like, man, have you ever paid attention that we never lost anything? That even though things may have been hard in these moments and tough in these spots, we've never lost anything. And I think that's so key of being in alignment, because there's moments in life where I believe that you're here, that moments are there to teach you something and for you to get something out of it, more than it is for you to elevate in finances, because don't get me wrong, I want to financially, I want to win in every space. I want to just win. That's just me naturally, and I think I deserve to win in every space. And this is another form of that. Just like the level of obedience allows other things to happen in the midst for you. The question I ask myself, and what is the cost of being the fake version of who I really am, because of me not choosing to fully walk in the place that we're God and who God has called me to be. Not the cost of walking down in the lane of obedience. I'm talking, what is the cost of, what am I really sacrificing when I don't walk in that place and I don't go and become the person that I'm truly called to be? And this is, every time I do one of these episodes, it's always about me. I'm not really, I don't, I just pray and hope that when someone does listen to these episodes and someone does view these videos on YouTube, that they get something out of it and that they can reflect back onto themselves and not just hear my story, but think about your own life and think about the spaces where you could just be a little bit more faithful in. Think about the spaces where the pieces of you that's not fully whole yet, and what that path looks like. What does that sound like? What does that look like to go down the path of becoming a whole version of yourself? And really being honest about those pieces that aren't whole. They're still broken. They're still shattered, and that you need to take time to really go into a closet and really work on yourself. Get off social media. Get off. Stop eating food. Sacrifice in a sense of fasting from things that don't serve the person who you're supposed to be. And what are you sacrificing when you don't choose those paths? And that's something that rings off with me, because of, even when it comes to this podcast, God is like really, really, really like beating down my door now with this. And it's like, come on, man, like, I need you. And he said something that was so clear and so profound to me. And he said, you don't understand how important you really are to the whole vision. And when he meant by that was that I don't think that when people are disobedient to what God has called them to be, that they're just being malicious and just being like, I don't want to do that, so I'm not doing it. I mean, some people are. I'm not saying that it isn't, but some people are. But I think most of us are just scared. And when I say scared, I'm thinking, especially when it comes to like public speaking and putting yourself out there, is what are people going to think about me? My past has done a doozy on me, and I'm not sure if I want people to see me in this light, because I've been shown in this light. And the malice, I don't think you mean any malice against what you feel God has called you to do and you're not doing it. I don't think it's out of ill intent. But the thing is, I believe that if God has called you to do something on whatever level, that there's a level of protection around you. That there are things that are going to be in your background that kind of make you, but I think you need to use those things that make you feel insecure, that make you feel like you aren't the best person for this position. I think you need to use that as fuel to push you closer and closer to the light of where God, I believe, has for you. And then when you do that, you start opening up things around you and opportunities around you to happen for you. And now you're really flowing in the places of purpose. And it's the thing of you're letting your situations have a chokehold on you. I know it. I've been there. I feel it at times, and it really, really gets to me sometimes. This whole thing about public speaking is not that I don't think I'm not good at it. I know I can do it. I know that I have what it takes and all the jizz and all that whatever. But that's not what I see for myself. So So at times I don't want to do it. At times I don't feel like it's necessary. And it all roots back to sometimes it becomes a self-serving space of your disobedience as well. It's not just your fear based. It could just be self-serving. I got a perfect example of that. I think I've told you guys this before, is that my perfect vision of myself is this. I love business. I love doing business. I love being in the background, thinking and planning out and doing all those things when it comes to business. I just love it. I'm naturally good at it. And I have this vision of myself. If somebody was on stage, right, and we got a whole crowd of people, I'm the guy in the back corner that the guy on stage knows, but everybody else don't know. And if you if you know type of guy. I'm the man, but I'm just in the corner. You don't need to know who I am for real. Only the people who need to know who I am. That's my vision of myself. Just in the corner, and I speak to whoever I need to speak to one-on-one. Not on a mass level type of scenario. And guys like, no, man, you're not about to get, that's not what I'm placing you at. That's not the place I've called you to be. I need your voice. And I'm just like, oh man, no. And again, he's just like, you don't know how important you are. And because you don't know how important you are, you play yourself in spaces where your importance matters the most. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. I know that people are doing themselves like that all the time. You're playing yourself in spaces where you're needed most at, because you don't know how important you are. Not just because you just don't want to do it. You don't know the value that you truly have in that space. And so because of that, that's something that straightened me up, and it caused me to realize this also too, is that it's part of my alignment. There's certain things that I've recognized that's part of alignment. You know, I was at the barbershop and I was talking about this with my barber, and a gentleman was sitting next to me. And I said, do you know the things that keep you aligned? And I said, align with your purpose. Do you know exactly what to do and what things keep you aligned in purpose? And he said, no. And the barber says, well, you know, when God does something, you know God did that. Yeah, I know God did it, but do I know why God did it? Do I know what I did to cause God to be like, you know what, let me put my hand on it? And this is the thing. I believe God can do anything that he wants at any given time with any reason. He doesn't have a reason to do anything that he wants. But there's things that you can do that will cause God to just move immediately. And do you know what it takes to get God to move immediately in your space? When you're aligned, it's because I'm aligned, these things happened. It's because not just miracles, signs, and wonders. I'm talking about daily things that God just does because of your alignment. Because of who you are, these things happen in your life. Because of who you are, you're in this position. Because of who you are, and because of this faithfulness in the things that you do, God does this. I'm trying to find that. I'm trying to figure it out, because the thing is because I don't want God just to do things every once in a while, and then we say, "Oh, God did that." I need God doing. And it's not necessarily like I just want something just big to happen every single time, but I want to be conscious of my behavior and my level of obedience and my faithfulness to His obedience that causes things to just move within my favor. And that's the space where I think, and I say, God, show me the spaces where I can be more faithful at. Show me the spaces where I'm not whole at, that there's in pieces. And it took me to the story about King Saul. I think it's Acts 15:1, when God told Saul to destroy everything in Amalek. Is at that. Listen, you Bible thumpers, if you know the proper name of that, just put it in the comments. Don't attack me. But it's Amalek, and And he said to kill all the spoils and the livestock and to destroy everything, but Saul didn't. He spared the king, and he kept the best livestock to sacrifice to the Lord. He didn't do everything. He partially obeyed. He did it, but he really didn't do it. And that's an issue within itself. Sometimes we do things and we do it haphazardly. We pray, but we might not pray how often we should pray. We speak and we do a podcast, but we don't do the podcast as often as we should. Specifically to me again, God specifically said to me, he said, do this in the same way that you handle business. And if you know me and you know when it comes to business, I'm in it every day. And I'm in it. I gotta be told to stop sometime. I'm always trying to figure things out. I'm always thinking about it. I'm always in the space. But then more specifically, God just said, look, but this is the kicker. I only want 1 day per week from you with this. I can do more with your little than you can than you can with your whole. And that's what he's saying. Is like, I don't want everything from you. I just want this part to be whole. I need this to be working in full fashion. And because of what I believe God has called me to do, this is something that I believe the things that God desires from me when it comes to my alignment. That there's like, because of who I am and the importance I have in the body. This is a great analogy. I want to say this to you. Everybody's alignment is different, and I want y'all to take time to really figure out what alignment looks like for you. Okay? I used to look at 5:30 a.m. as a place where I used to just get up and I would get information. I'll get insight. I looked at it as just a place of getting insight. And so what do I do when I got the insight already? I leave for a time until I need more insight, until I need more understanding. Then I come back again. And God got my head into a headlock and was like, dude, this is alignment. Not just a place for you to get information from and leave. Alignment is a daily exercise for you. For where I want you to go and where I'm taking you, this is a daily exercise for you. You don't have the luxury to come in and come out. And when I seen that, I paid attention to my finances. My finances come in, come right back out. Come back in, come back out. When it came to my relationships with my wife, we would be good, and then we'd be bad. Then we'd be good, then we'd be bad. And he started just showing me like the repetitive things and behaviors that was coming out of my misalignment of moments. When I misalign, things just get out of whack as a whole. You're not as sensitive to the things that's in error when you're out of alignment, and you don't know it. And when I started looking at it as alignment, things just started seeming a little bit more brighter for me. It just looked a little bit more clear for me. It became just like, no, man, I'm a little bit more sensitive to the things around me and my environments and the choices that I'm making now, because I'm using this now as an alignment tool and not just a tool to go get something and come back and leave. And so there's I don't believe, and the thing is, I want to make this very, very clear. I don't believe no one's intent is out of the lack of love that you have for God. And when you come in and come out, I don't think when King Saul didn't do exactly what God told him to do, I don't think it was just out of the lack of love that he had for God, but I truly believe that it was out of just the understand of how he didn't know how important the obedience was. I don't think he truly knew what he was doing and why he did it. Because at the end of the day, he thought he was being faithful. He thought his obedience was being faithful to what he thought his decision and the way that he did it was true obedience, was full and pure obedience, and it wasn't. It was self-serving. It was self-serving, but he didn't. I don't know if he really fully looked at it like that. And I'm going to judge him in his intent. But when I look at my life, I do stuff like that too. When I don't fully give and I don't fully commit, it's not out of malicious intent. It's not out of my heart not being there. It could really be out of not fully knowing how important some things are. It could be out of fear. It could be out of your own insecurities. It's just not always just, well, he just disobedient, so he just don't love God or whatever it may be. I don't feel like that is about everyone around. I think there's some things that just happens and we don't fully recognize and understand who we are and what we're doing in those moments. And I just know this. I know this for sure. It's just that you keeping your alignment and the things that are due within your alignment is tied directly to your faithfulness. God doesn't desire a sacrifice. He desires full and pure obedience to the very thing you said yes to the very thing that you said, you know what, God, this is how I want to live. And God comes back and say, man, I need this from you. I need you to go out and speak. I need you to go out and talk. I need you to, it's not that I don't want you to run the business. Matter of fact, if you give me a little bit more focus on this, you don't even have to worry about the business. The business is going to do itself, and all you got to do is just operate. I'm going to take care of you. Just give me some of that time of there. And I'll supply all of that. I'm over the next few months, 90 days, I'm going on a full faithfulness journey. If you want to join me. I'd gladly love to have conversations with you to see how this experience is going for you. And I pray that you'll be rooting for me as I'm rooting for you as well. Is that it's a 90-day faithfulness journey in keeping the alignment. So within my alignment, just for full transparency, I have to be very conscious about what I'm eating and putting in my body. One is I have to be very conscious of my relationship with my wife, the relationship with my children, and my meditation and focus, and my prayer life and focus every single day. There's no room for me to step in and step out of it. 90 days straight. And it's not that I stopped doing it after 90 days. It's just that I'm going to be more transparent about it over the next 90 days. And in that certain spaces where I'm not fully committed at, that I become fully committed. And I'm doing this in front of you. God, I'm truly growing up in front of you guys. I'm truly going up another level in life in front of you guys. And these are the things that I'm dealing with. This is why it's called the soul, focusing on the soul of the entrepreneur, because this is outside of business. What do we have? And what are we holding on to? Like, these are the things that keeps us whole. Like God told me, he says, look, man, it's not that I'm trying to hold something back from you. It's just that I want you to be fulfilled as you go up these levels. This is why I have you doing the podcast, because you feel fulfilled. You like helping people. Business is going to once you start making the money that you truly desire to make, that's it. You're just going to be making money. And you've been through that before. You experienced what that felt like. You experienced making a lot of money per month and being able to pay and do all the things. At some point, it got real like, okay, what am I doing now? And it did. I was very anxiety filled. I was unsure. And this is during a time where I wasn't praying as much and meditating as much as I should be. And I was extremely anxiety filled. I just thought people were just looking. I wasn't sure about if I should pay for something because I do got the money. If I shouldn't pay for something, like the wisdom was just not there at all. And I think God allowed me to do that and then remove it without killing me and having to give up anything. But I'm very grateful of that, and it just humbled me in such a way that now I look at life in a total different aspect. And as I gain more traction and go through these levels of finances and growing my finances, God is like he spoke to me clearly. He says, when I get you there, I want you to be there. When I take you there, I want you to be there whole and not in pieces. And and as I'm talking about these very topics, these are things I'm making myself whole in. These are spaces where I believe anybody should pay attention to. Like if you're an entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure that because as an entrepreneur you're always thinking, you're always turned on. So there might be spaces where you're not as paying much attention to your spouse. And those are moments you need to be aware of. Like your spouse needs your attention too, just as much as your business needs your attention. Your children need your attention just as much as your business needs your attention. But also out of that, God needs your attention. God desires your heart. God desires time. And if we don't dedicate time to that, then what are we doing? We're asking God to be a part of our business or to bless us in our business, but we don't want to invite him into the business. We want God to bless our families and our relationships, but we don't invite God into the relationship. We don't invite God into the family. We don't invite God into the home, but we want to bless the home. We want God to bless our bodies, but we don't invite God into our bodies by eating the right things and putting the right things in our body. I got 20 more pounds to go. God told me to get on to 240. I'm going to do it. I'm being very conscious about it. I'm so happy to be at 260. You have no idea. I ain't been here in a long time. I feel good. I like how slim my face is. The whole nine. I'm excited to see what 240 looks like. And I understand why God even wants me to get down, because he don't want me on this camera. And then I look back at myself and be like, man, look at you, man. And then I get self-conscious and then don't want to record because I'm like, man, I got to lose this weight first and do all the things. But I'm doing this stuff right in front of y'all because I believe that God's going to bless my faithfulness. I believe that God's never going to leave me empty-handed. And I believe the same thing for you. Find out what aligns you. And don't look at that as a sacrifice, but that you're going to go get something, that you're gaining. You're not giving up anything, but that you're gaining. Now I get up around 4:15 in the morning. I used to look at 5:30 as me sacrificing time for God. And I had to go back and refocus that and look at that and say, no, I'm not giving up anything. I'm going to go get something. I'm going to go get aligned with God. This is alignment now. This isn't just a routine, this is alignment. This is what alignment looks like. I've become okay with getting up now. I'm a morning person. I'm okay because I'm not. This is the other thing too. Just this bit of wisdom is that God spoke to me. He says the issue with discipline is the fact that we look at discipline as the act of doing the actual work and not what you've done to prepare for the work. That's where the real discipline is. So if it's about me getting up early at 4:15, the real discipline is in the preparation for me to get up at 4:15. Not get up 4:15 haphazard and tired and all the other things and saying, well, I'm getting up to sacrifice for God. No, he's not asking you to sacrifice. He's asking you to go to bed early so that you can get up and be right in the right mind. So you don't be so tired. That's where the real discipline is, in the preparation of the thing and not actually doing the thing. Because if you feel good, you're gonna do good. And that part is easy. The work is actually easy. It's the preparation is where the discipline is. And that can be a little tough. So just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for where you want God to take you. This is me preparing. Me aligning is me preparing. Me doing this podcast is me preparing. And I pray that over the next 90 days that there's so much content that comes out of this, and that so many people see life in a different way over the next 90 days, and that you could see God in a different way. I want to be whole and not a man in pieces. To whom is much is given, much is required. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Ralph Walker, and this is Focusing on the Soul of an Entrepreneur.